afternoon, and welcome to today's webinar. It is titled New ZoneTight Zone Valves, Efficiency in Every Way. Our presenter today is Nigel Gallimore, a product manager within Belimo Air Controls. You will be able to view the webinar and listen to our audio. If you should have any questions during the session, please make sure to use the question and answer box. And then at the end of the webinar, we will have a question and answer session. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Nigel.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Belimo ZoneTight April's webinar. The Belimo ZoneTight product range consists of a pressure-independent valve range and also a pressure-dependent valve range. Today I'll be speaking about the pressure-dependent valve, the QCV. The Belimo QCV is more than a standard zone valve. In fact, it's more compact. It uses less power than the traditional zone valve. And of course, because of its ball valve design, it has zero leakage. The QCV is ideally suited for installation in fin tube applications, fan coil applications, VAV reheat, chill beams, or heating, cooling, sealing. This is the same technology and reliability that you know and trust in the Belimo damper and valve actuators. It's now available in a compact zone valve. For the QCV, it's available in a two-way and three-way configuration. It's for water application only with media temperatures 36 degrees F to 212 degrees F. And it has a body pressure rating of 230 PSI. The QCV is so compact, as you see the comparison between a traditional zone valve on your right and the QCV on your left. So here we have the two traditional zone valves, two-way and three-way, versus the QCV on your left. The QCV two-way is only 3.1 inches tall compared to a two-way traditional zone valve at 4.4 inches tall. And the three-way, 3.5 inches for the QCV versus 4.6 on a three-way traditional zone valve. Its ultra compact size ensures that it fits into tight installations such as the fin tube application you see here. The QCV is furnished with a 3-foot plenum cable, and it has an integrated half-inch conduit connectors. I know in some jurisdictions, a conduit connector is required for zone valves or valve installation in general. Here is a quick comparison of a QCV two-way versus a traditional zone valve. They have two-way and three-way QCVs. The two-way QCV, of course, it's a ball design as compared to the two-way traditional zone valve with the flapper design. The ball valve gives you a better, tighter sealing. It gives you a higher close-off pressure, up to 75 PSI, while with traditional zone valves, close-off pressure varies by size. So it varies from 20 PSI all the way up to 70 PSI, depending on the size of the valve. With the QCV, it's 75 PSI for all sizes. The valves are NPT as compared to the traditional zone valves. The flapper, because of its design, it allows for leakage across the seat. It allows for sticking in the long off position. So in seasonal conditions where you have a heating valve, and in the summertime it's closed, and in the fall when you go back to the heating season and you ask that valve to open, it oftentimes gets stuck. With the traditional ball valve like we have in our QCV, we do not experience that problem. It's a similar design to the CCV that you know, and from experience, we know that the ball valve will not stick when in long off-season unused position. From a power consumption standpoint, the QCV uses a mere 0.3 watts. The patented brushless DC motor from our traditional damper actuators has been scaled down to fit in this application, where we developed a new CQ actuator for the QCV family of valves. It operates in the power close position. So from the off season, and you now go into your heating season again, we have no issues in operating. It uses less power than the traditional zone valve, up to 95% less than the traditional zone valve. What does this really mean? Let's assume that about 1 million zone valves are installed each year. If we were to install 1 million QCV instead of the traditional zone valve, we would save about 30,660 kilowatt hours per year. This power savings could power about 58,300 60-watt light bulbs for 24 hours per day for a year. This installed a QCV versus a traditional zone valve. The QCVs are shipped from the factory as an assembly. You will order your assembly valve plus actuator. It will be assembled here at the factory at Belimo and shipped to the designated location. The QCVs requires no tools to assemble the actuator to the valve. It's an easy snap-on, snap-off. It's available as a field set only. So in the field, you will set your mechanical position on the actuator, which will in turn give you a different CV value. Each time you move your end stop to a new location, you will have a different CV value. We will look at this more closely in a later slide. But the two-way valve, half-inch, has a maximum CV value of 5.9. The three-quarter inch has a maximum CV value of 9.8. In order to get incremental CVs down from the max values, you will change the mechanical stop on the actuator. As you see here, this is the mechanical stop. You would change the mechanical stop to a new position, and you will get a new CV value. In the later slides, I will show you how to make this adjustment and what the relating CVs will be. For the three-way valves, there is no CV adjustment. These are the maximum values for the valve bodies, 1, 2.7, and 4.6. Because of the design of the three-way valve, it's similar to the traditional zone valve. It's simply an open or closed for diverting or switching applications. So there is no CV adjustments. When the product is released, we will release with some accessories to go along with the product. We will have stem adapters, which will allow you to insulate the valves without getting the insulation on the actuator. So the stem adapter will be clipped on to the valve body, and then the actuator will clip onto the top of the stem adapter, giving you the room for insulating the valve without getting the actuator inside the insulation. In 2016, we will also have an accessory cover for the actuators. There have been times when valves are installed within the office space and there is a need to conceal the orange cover of the actuator. We will have a white cover, which is paintable, so it can be painted to whatever your office decor color is, so it will blend in. From a piping standpoint, the two-way QCV is bidirectional. So there is no traditional A and AB porting. Flow can enter and exit from either side, which makes it easy for installation. You don't need to know which port is in and which port is out. It's bidirectional. For the three-way valve, we have ports A, B, and AB. However, this is also bidirectional, so you can have flows coming in at B and exiting at AB, or flow coming in at AB, exiting at B, and vice versa. A exit to AB, or in at AB and exit to A. As depicted here in this piping diagram for a switching application or changeover application. You can have two medias, hot or cold and hot, and for seasonal changeover, you have flows coming in and entering your coil, and when you have a change in season again, you have the additional flow coming in and entering your coil. Or you can have your traditional diverting application where flow enters at the bottom port and enter and go through the coil, or you can divert it, enters at AB and divert it around the coil. For the wiring diagram, we have the basic three types of actuator wiring. We have our traditional on-off for a non-fail-safe actuator. So it's a two-wire, a three-wire power close, power open actuator. We have a common and two control wires for left and right. For your traditional on-off, one-wire control, you power close switch A and your actuator will drive in one direction. You break switch A and it will drive the opposite direction. For the floating point, again, you have two contacts, one for left, one for right. This is similar to our LM actuator or LR actuator that you know. Then we have the proportional actuator. Again, this is very similar to the traditional LM or LR, where you have your red and black for power and your white for control. On the actuators, we have two types. We have your proportional type and your floating on-off type. For your proportional type actuators, we have a push button that allows you to adapt your control signal, your 2 to 10 volts control signal, over the range set by the mechanical stop. So whenever you change the mechanical stop to gain a new CV value, you can now adapt your control signal to that new range, so you have your full control resolution over your new range. For the floating point actuator, we do not have a push button, but what we do give you is the runtime. We'll give you the runtime for each clip position that you will set, so you can program this runtime in your controller and you can know the actuator position based on the runtime. So here's how we would field set CVs for a QCV two-way valve. Along your horizontal line here at the bottom, there are numbers 1 through 6, then N and remove. This refers to the numbers at the bottom of the actuator here that you can't read so well. But these are the numbers 1 through 6, N and remove. So this is your clip that you will place at any of these positions on the actuator to change the CV value. So with the clip removed, for this example, the 3/4 inch valve, you would have 9.8 CV. If you were to put the clip on position 6, you would have a 4.6 CV. If you're using a proportional actuator, when you moved your clip to position 6, you would adapt the actuator to get your full control resolution from 0 to your CV of 4.6. If you're using a floating point actuator, you would set the runtime in your controller to 62 seconds. So from 0 to fully open would be 62 seconds. And if it's proportional, you adapt it, and your new mechanical limit would be, their signal would be scaled over your new mechanical limit. To help facilitate setting CVs in the field, we developed a web app. So from the Belimo website, belimo.com, ZoneTight.com, you can go in and put in your GPM, if you know it, and a delta P, and hit submit, and it will animate this image here and tell you what clip position to put the end stop, and it will tell you also what your runtime is if it was a floating point actuator. So you put in your GPM, you put in your delta P if you know it. If you don't know it, we will default to a rule of thumb 4 PSI. You hit submit, it calculates, it gives you the clip position, it gives you the CV, and it also gives you the runtime. If you know your CV value already, you can put the CV value in this area, hit submit, and it will tell you the new clip position and the runtime. We will be also releasing later on a smartphone version for an iPhone or an Android. Once you've done this setup through the website, along with the clip positions and runtime and CV value calculation, there will also be a button there where you can click to get documentation. So you'll be able to get your submittal, you'll be able to get tech doc for the particular actuator that you have or valve assembly that you have. From our PGPL, this is a simplified view of the product range. Again, we have two-way valves and we have three-way valves. Maximum CV on a half-inch two-way is 5.9. For a three-quarter inch two-way, it's 9.8. And for your three-way, the half-inch is a CV of 1, 2.7, and for a three-quarter inch, it's 4.6. Again, we offer non-fail-safe actuators, and we offer fail-safe. The fail-safe actuator is not a mechanical spring, it's an electronic fail-safe, similar to our GK actuator today, just in a smaller package. We have floating point for non-fail-safe. We have an SR, which is your proportional 2 to 10 volts. And then we have a line voltage for 110 volts to 230 volts. For electronic fail-safe, we have 24 volts. So it's your 24 volts on-off. Then we have your 24 volts on-off with an end switch. And we have your proportional 2 to 10 volts. we like to think of our new ZoneTight as efficient in every way. Not only is it compact in size and use less power, but it's also leakage free. It's zero leakage, which eliminates ghost energy loss. It operates after power closed during the long off season, and now you're into a new season. We have no issues with the valve operating. This is the technology and reliability that you know and trust in Belimo damper actuators and valves. It offers a self-cleaning ball valve technology which avoids clogging, and very importantly, it offers a 5-year warranty. This is unprecedented. Belimo is the only company today that offers a 5-year warranty on a zone valve. We use our patented brushless DC motor technology. This is how we're able to reduce the power consumption to only 0.3 watts, saving energy and transformer sizing. So if you had a small job, we would use less number of transformers for a QCV than you would need for a traditional zone valve. Again, because we're a ball valve, we're have a 0% leakage, no energy loss. We eliminate the energy loss. It's ultra compact in size, ensures that it's able to install in tight spaces. No tools are required. It snaps together quickly and easily, and you are able to adjust the CVs in the field. So from 1 or 2 valve bodies, you're able to satisfy the requirements of many zone valve applications based on CV requirements. From our ZoneTight.com website, you're able to get additional documentation. You can get your tech doc, your submittals, and your product flyers. Are there any questions?
All right. Well, Nigel, thank you so much for the presentation. I'm going to put everybody into the lobby in which you can hear, or I'm sorry, you can type in your questions in the chat box. I will speak them, and then Nigel will answer them as best as possible. Just a friendly reminder, if you're tuning in to the presentation halfway through, we have recorded this presentation, so if you could send us an email at marketing@us.belimo.com, we will surely get you a copy of this presentation. Okay, so Nigel, the first question is, when is the fail-safe version for the 120 VAC coming out?
As a second phase to the project, we will have a line voltage fail-safe actuator for a 2016 catalog. So next year we will have a line voltage fail-safe version.
Okay. Next question, is the CV adjustment a rotation limiter?
It's a rotation limiter as well as the means to change the CV. That's correct.
Okay. Can the factory ship valves with different CVs, or does it always have to be adjusted in the field?
As a standard, we ship the valves with the CV adjusted to the end position. So we assemble the valve and we move the end stop to the end position.
Okay. Can these valves be used for low pressure steam applications?
Now this valve is only designed for water applications, so no steam service is allowed with these valves.
Okay, and I missed one question. When will these valves be available to order?
You can order these valves today. They are available in the 2015 catalog, released for April 1st.
Will you offer adapters for sweat connections?
As a part of the second phase of the project, we are looking into different connection types. It hasn't been determined that it will be sweat or a ProPress or some other type of quick connect, but we are doing a study right now to determine which type of connection type we will have besides NPT.
Okay. Are the 24V fail-safe available now?
24 volts AC models are available. All the models that I show on the screen are 24 except for the UP, which is 110 to 240.
Okay. Is this replacing the CCV valve?
No, this is not a CCV replacement. CCVs will continue to exist. The specification on these valves are slightly different than the CCV because of the applications that they're intended to be used in. They do not have the same specification as the CCV.
Okay. Is tagging available for these like other valves?
Yes. When you place your order, you will supply the tagging requirements. We will prepare the same type of silver tag that you're accustomed to and attach it to the valve actuator.
What is the maximum GPM on the 3/4 inch valve?
The maximum CV is 9.8. Because it's not a pressure independent valve, we talk in terms of CV. We could calculate backwards pressure and determine what a GPM would be. But for this purpose, we're just talking CV.
Can these valves be purchased as body and actuator separately or strictly as assemblies?
We sell them only as an assembly at this point.
Okay. Next question, can you use a glycol mix in this system?
Yes. It's available with up to 60% glycol mix.
What is the highest hot water temperature allowed by this valve?
212 degrees is the maximum immediate temperature.
Okay. Well, we have a couple more questions coming in. I just want to point out that through the software, we're able to make available to you the ZoneTight valve brochure and the ZoneTight tech doc. You can download these files through Adobe Connect today. And also, we do have a link up to the ZoneTight website. After this webinar is concluded, if you should have any further questions, feel free to email those questions to marketing@us.belimo.com. Okay, next question. Is there a manual release to release the actuator to move the valve?
There is no manual override. To manually override the valve, you can use the actuator. You pull the actuator up and use it to turn the valve stem to the desired position. Also, on the valve stem itself, it was designed with a slot where you can use a spade screwdriver to turn this valve. It's very low torque, so it requires very little effort to turn it.
Okay, next question. What are the performance differences between the QCV and the PICCV?
QCV and PICCV. The PICCV is a pressure independent valve, so it's not an apples to apples comparison. The QCV is pressure dependent. At the end of this month and at the end of April, there will be another presentation on the PIQCV, which would be equivalent to the PICCV. So that's pressure independent to pressure independent valve.
And Nigel, piggybacking off of that, the date of that webinar is actually April 29th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next question, is the body made with dezinctified brass?
No, it's standard brass, just like the CCV, except that the CCV has a plating. The QCV is just a plain brass, no plating.
All right, so we're going to do a last call for questions. As a friendly reminder, we do have some upcoming presentations on April 22nd. We have a Select Pro webinar hosted by Danielle Brees. And then on April 29th, we have an additional presentation, Introduction to the PIQCV, and David Candell will be hosting that webinar. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for attending today's webinar session. Thank you so much, Nigel. I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you should have any further questions, we have one more question coming through. On the three-way valve, is the leakage tight for both ports?
Yes, it's 0% leakage for both A and AB ports.
All right. So that was our final question, ladies and gentlemen. If you do have those additional questions, again, email us at marketing@us.belimo.com, and please make sure you visit the www.zonetight.com. Thank you. Have a great day. Recording has